Hey, I'm here at Pirates of the Caribbean, supposedly the most haunted ride in Walt Disney World. Why? Let's find out right now on What the Fetch. Arguably the most well-known of Disney World's rumored haunts is on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and his name is George. He's supposedly the ghost of a worker who died while building the superstructure over what is now the burning town scene. However he died, it was in or around 1970, 3 years before the ride itself opened to the public. It's said that if the cast members don't announce "Good night, George" over the PA system before they shut down the ride at night, the ride will malfunction all the next day. Now, the ride is old, so I'm sure it has had its bad days anyway, but hey, making a habit of announcing 3 words at night is a small price to pay just in case. I've heard that while riding the ride, you may be able to experience George yourself. Here's how it's supposed to go. While entering the ride, mumble to your friends or family that you don't think George is real, or that he's not truly haunting the place, and supposedly this will get him to manifest. Basically, the ride will stop working, or you will see evidence of George on the ride. But George isn't the first entity you're likely to meet. Right before you head down the big drop near the beginning, look up. You may be lucky enough to see a ghostly woman observing you from a booth overhead when there isn't a booth overhead. Rumor has it that back before they had certain safety rails in place, 2 ladies were riding alone in one of the boats. Supposedly, their boat was too light, and when they hit the bottom of the drop, their boat came off the rails and crashed. After that drop, it's all George. George is rumored to be seen at just about any point along the ride, but here are the places where you're most likely to encounter him. During the ride, you'll come across the animatronic of poor Carlos, being repeatedly drowned in a well. To the right of his house, there is a tower that reaches up to the ceiling. This is George's tower. If you look up there and see a light burning in the upper windows, that supposedly means that George is home. Every time we looked at the tower from this angle, there was always a light on, which we believe was coming from the other side of the ride. Further along, on the right, at the base of the bridge between the chase scene and the fire scene, you'll find Old Bill, flat out blasted drunk, talking to cats. He's the animatronic guy that says, "Oh, you be a feisty one, you be." Keep an eye out for George resting in the chair to the right of Old Bill, or crossing the bridge above him. While you're in the fire scene, floating by the guy hanging out with a few pigs, take a moment and look up to your right. There you'll see the backside of George's tower. Is the light still burning in the window? If so, that supposedly means George is definitely there. Now, when we glanced up at George's tower from this angle, there wasn't always a light on in the tower, but we did see it once. Looking straight ahead now, you should see a bridge with a man dangling his hairy leg off the side. This marks the beginning of the jail scene, or George's area. Keep an eye out and you just might encounter George patrolling the area in the form of a black shadow. As you move through the jail scene, you'll see a door behind the infamous dog holding the keys just out of reach of the whistling prisoners. This door is George's door. It's said that it must remain closed while the ride is in operation, but sometimes it will open on its own. Other times it simply won't open at all. So be sure to check George's door while riding the ride. If the door is open, George is supposedly there and a ride malfunction is imminent. One of the times we rode the ride, George's door was open. Now, my family and I have put this to the test often, and we have yet to see George. Every time we try this though, nothing happens on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride itself, but the very next ride we ride always breaks down, every single time. No matter what, we always make sure to treat George with respect and say goodbye when we leave the ride. Well, there you have it, weirdos. The next chance you get to ride Pirates of the Caribbean, you best be keeping your eyes peeled for George. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Stay ye weird.